Breakfast.
It is the WAV, 97.9 WHAV, and in the studio with me is Jeff Hollett, Haverhill's Veteran Services Officer. And Jeff, nice to see you in the studio today. It's been a while since you've been here.
I like coming into the studio. I wish I could get into the studio more often for these talks.
Oh yeah.
I think it just has better flow.
It has a better flow, and you can read my face when I have a quizzical look.
Yeah, I guess that's true, right?
So I know that you have a lot of things, and gosh, we're coming up on Memorial Day, and there's so many things going on. So I don't even know where to start. So where would you like to start today?
Well, since you said Memorial Day, I think the common theme for my office is we often refer to it as Memorial Day week, because there are a lot of events that pop up during the week preceding Memorial Day. The bigger events for myself, my office, are obviously, flagging of the graves, the 2 Saturdays before Memorial Day. But a lot of the schools and a lot of the elementary schools have programs. So I want to reach out to, and ask anybody who's having a special program. I don't care how big or how small it is. If you're having a program and you're gathering, to honor veterans and to honor the memory of our veterans that served and fought and made that ultimate sacrifice, please reach out to our office. Let me know. I would be more than happy to attend. I would like to see Memorial Day week become a week of events every single day of the week prior to. And that's kind of what we usually see a lot of overlap, but that's okay. I'll pop in wherever I can. And I want to just kind of challenge people to go ahead, reach out to my office. Let me know what your plans are. Maybe you are a family and you do your own thing and you don't want me there. That's fine. But share with us. Share with us here in the office. Let us know what Memorial Day means to you. I think that is going to be the theme of our Memorial Day week this year is, what does Memorial Day mean to you? Because it means different things to different people.
It certainly does mean different things to different people. Like, my father, he left high school. This was during World War II. He left high school to join the Navy, and I guess they weren't all that careful about getting in underage people back in World War II. Is that right?
It is true. About a month ago, a family reached out to me and told me that their grandfather, who unfortunately had passed away, had served in a similar situation, joined when he was just shy of graduating high school, went off to war, came home and went right to work and never got his high school diploma. And they were reaching out to us to ask, were there any programs? There's a national program for especially Korean War and World War II veterans that if you didn't get your diploma because of your service, reach out to us here at the office. We'll share that information with you and your family. And maybe we'll be able to get you a high school diploma. Can't promise, but and it is more difficult for those that are deceased. But especially if you have a Korean War veteran or a World War II veteran that's still alive, we definitely want to hear from you.
You mentioned the World War II veteran that's still alive. My father's not, but now the next one is the ones that are disappearing are the Korean War veterans.
Absolutely true, and we that first person conversation or story. I could tell you all kinds of stories about different World War II veterans and Korean War veterans that I've met, but it's not the same as hearing it from them. And we're losing that. There are very few World War II left. Korean War veterans are the next generation, and we're losing veterans at a largely alarming rate. We're seeing our population of veterans shrinking slowly, and we just hit a tipping point where the largest demographic of veterans was the Vietnam-era veterans, and just this year, that tipping point, it's now the Persian Gulf veterans are the largest population of veterans, because they're coming home and they're getting out of the service today, and they're still considered Persian Gulf War veterans today, because the Persian Gulf War is like now a 20-year war.
Oh wow! Hey, you have a whole bunch of papers in your hand. What do you see? I can tell that because you're here in the studio. What do you have coming up?
This is one of my favorite posters. I like to put these out every year, and it says, "To all veterans, active duty, retired, and reserves, we want you," as Uncle Sam on it. We've posted these all over City Hall. We have them all over my office. And it's a call to all veterans to meet us at the staging area located at 64 Canosa Ave on Memorial Day, because we step off at 10:45 a.m. and we're honoring all our fallen brothers and sisters. And honoring all our father and brothers and sisters is what Memorial Day is the focus for most veterans that are participating in these events. It's not really about us. It's about our fallen brothers and sisters, kind of capturing on what it means to different people and different folks, because we all have our roles. And I think one of the things that we have to remember is that the number one thing that we can do as Americans to honor their sacrifices is in the way that we live our lives.
Now, they're absolutely true about that. You don't think about that until somebody brings it up, and absolutely, you want to live your best life and honor the people who make that possible for you.
I think it's important that's why we look at Memorial Day as more than just Memorial Day, but Memorial Day week, and I think that's why I think it's important to me to try to get to as many programs as I can to talk to people from different backgrounds, whether it be the senior elderly group at one of the assisted living facilities, or whether it be the elementary school kids at one of the local schools that are celebrating their feelings about Memorial Day, especially now because it's a tumultuous time. We have veterans that are serving in Poland. We have veterans that are serving down in Texas that are coming from our communities right here. They're being deployed in alarming rates right now, because of the Iran war and because of other conflicts across the globe. So it's a very tumultuous time, and we got to remember them. We got to remember them and never forget that our freedom costs.
Now, you mentioned about flagging grave sites and things like that. How many cemeteries are there in Haverhill?
There are 17 cemeteries in Haverhill that I know of. And if there's more than 17, then there may be a small little cemetery out there, maybe privately owned, that I'm unaware of. If that's the case, please do call us. Let us know at the office. But we are responsible, my office is responsible for purchasing and making available to the public the graveside flags. We've purchased over 8,000 flags this year, and we have plans to put out over 8,000 flags. We can't do that without volunteers. Last year I made an appeal, and the year before for volunteers at St. James Cemetery. I want to make that same appeal this year. Unfortunately, the commander of the AmVets passed away in March. We have a new acting commander, Bill Jerry, and we know we're going to need a lot of volunteers because St. James alone, I think, is about 1,000 flags. 1,000 flags.
And
wow. And one day that we go out and flag those. We'll be flagging the Saturday right before Memorial Day is the plan. If that changes, I'll be making a public announcement about that, in the next coming weeks.
All right. So if a troop, a civic club, or just any individual wants to,
you said it perfectly. Any troop, any civic club, any family group, any church group, anybody. If you're an American and you want to volunteer, even just an hour of your time, then flagging of the graves that's what the premise of Memorial Day was created upon, was a Decoration Day turned into Armistice Day, Decoration Day, then and then Veterans Day and Memorial Day. All of these holidays have evolved over time, but Memorial Day especially, was created by what was called Decoration Day, and it's all about decorating the graves of our fallen soldiers.
I was thinking of a cemetery you may have skipped over. We had Jimmy Carboni on recently. He's a trustee over at John Greenleaf Whittier Birthplace in Haverhill, and they have a cemetery up there. You count that one too?
I have been there, and I've met with the folks there and the trustees to find out whether there was any other veterans that were actually buried there. And he himself was not a veteran, so there are no veterans buried there. But that is a great example of a privately owned cemetery, and that would be the 18th official cemetery. So you caught me there, Wynn. Good for you. You definitely caught me there.
Well, that's great. All right. Well, we need to get going, but do you have something else you wanted to bring up today?
I just wanted to thank you, for having me on the show. I think it's important that we be available not even as a news source, but for feedback from our community. And I just want people to know that if you have any questions about Memorial Day, you can reach out to us at the office. We're at the second floor of the Citizen Center, 8 to 4, Monday through Friday. And the office number is 978-374-2351, extension 3932. Thank you.
3932. That's the one I always forget.
3932. If you can get to the main number, you'll hear a message board, and it'll guide you through the messages to get to our department. It's a good system. It works. I'll get back to you within 24 hours, guaranteed.
Okay. Well, fantastic. Hey, Jeff, thank you so much. And we'll
Thank
see
you.
We'll see you later on. Jeff Hollett, Haverhill's Veteran Services Officer, our guest this morning here on the WHAV, 97.9 WHAV.
Wake up with Wynn Damon weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on 97.9 FM WHAV.
Catch the wave, WHAV.